Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination news. Newsmakers, talking points, the big talking point. Politics over Kargil Vijay Divas. Is the military being used as a pawn in a political war? We're going to raise that big question today on a day which is special. 25th anniversary of the war in Kargil and the battle our brave hearts fought then. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. Fierce politics breaks out between Prime Minister Modi and the opposition on Kargil Divas. Agnipath scheme at the heart of the battle. PM accuses opposition of spreading misinformation. Congress retorts says government misleading the youth. It's raining Agniveer quotas now from Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Uttarakhand. 4 BJP-ruled states declare reservations for ex-Agniveers in police and armed forces. Prime Minister Modi warns Pakistan amidst terror surge in Jammu, says the kingpins of terror won't succeed in their nefarious plans. Monsoon fury wreaks havoc in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Overnight downpour brings national capital to a halt. Karnataka scams face-off escalates. BJP MPs protest outside Parliament against Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Sidhu cries foul, claims he's being targeted as he's an OBC. Amidst rumblings in the Uttar Pradesh BJP camp, hectic parlays in national capital. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath to meet top brass tomorrow. Suspense looms over whether his deputy KP Maurya will attend. Race for White House hots up. Barack and Michelle Obama endorse Kamala Harris for president. Say they are proud of her. Harris thanks the Obamas. And hours ahead of Paris Olympics opening ceremony, arson attacks on French railways trigger chaos. Travel disrupted in London and Belgium too. NASA astronaut Sunita Williams still stuck in space. The space agency says there's no confirmed return date for Sunita and Butch Wilmore over glitches in their Boeing capsule. But the story we are breaking at this moment, the French rail network has been hit by arson attacks hours before the Olympic opening ceremony in Paris. Weekend train services to be hit. Over 8 lakh people affected at the moment. High-speed trains have shifted to normal tracks. All of this coming, as we said, even as the Olympic opening ceremony is about to begin in Paris. So just before that opening ceremony, over 8 lakh people affected. Remember, Paris now on high alert amidst this Olympic story that's breaking at the moment. Let me just put those flashes. It's about the Olympics to my producers at the moment. The Olympics have been hit at the moment by these arson attacks that have taken place just hours before the Olympics is to start at the moment. Let me go straight across to Nikhil Naz. He's joining us at the moment. Nikhil, can you tell us exactly what has happened and how would this affect, if at all, security at the Games?
In all its glory, but beyond that, yes, of course, the headlines that you're talking about, and these were certain disruptions that have been happening in the lead up to the Games. Just to give a bit of a background to our viewers, there have been a lot of protests with regards to the Olympic Games. There has been, and these are protests from within France. So these are French citizens that have been objecting to the Games, not from now, but for the last couple of years. Of course, those protests have now, gathered momentum in the last few days. But they have said that, the kind of money that is being spent on the Olympics, that could have very well been used for public welfare. That France also was dealing with a financial crisis not too long ago. So those have been some of the concerns that have been raised by a lot of folks that reside here, that have been citizens of the country. But it was going to reach this extent. I don't think the organizers had that in mind. There have been a few attacks. Just to let you know, the local transport in Paris has not been affected. So we ourselves took the metro to reach here, this location. And right now the entire city has been cordoned off because moving away from the usual. This time you have the opening ceremony actually go through the entire city. So arrangements within the cities are pretty watertight. You've got security all around, but it is actually right outside the city where the national rail network, not the local network, but the national rail network has been hit with the arson attacks that we were talking about. And this has actually disrupted a lot of Great Britain athletes. We were told that some of those athletes, as you know, London is just a train ride away from here. They were actually heading in to France because they were training at the 11th hour. They were heading into France this afternoon. Those trains have been stopped. I also know of a lot of officials that were planning to get into the city for the opening ceremony in the evening, not just from London, but from various other parts of Europe. They will not be able to now make it to the opening ceremony. Other than that, I also know of a lot of tourists that intended to come into Paris. Some of them who may not have had a French visa but got a Schengen visa, they're coming in via various other countries into France. All of that has been affected as we speak. But I was just speaking to a few local organizers. It hasn't actually impacted the opening ceremony as such. We are told that it's going to start on time and it's going to be exactly according to the schedule that is given us a couple of days ago.
Just asking, Nikhil, the Indian contingent looking forward to perhaps their best ever Olympics. Is that a real possibility, or is this going to be tougher than it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago in Japan?
That's a real tough question to answer, Rajdeep, at the moment. I mean, for the last 1 week, we at the sports desk have really put our brains together, actually analyzed every athlete, and the number, the consensus that we could actually get to was about 6 medals, and that 6 is one short of what you achieved in Tokyo last time. So it could be at par with what you got at Tokyo. Of course, when you arrive at a number as 6, in the Olympic Games, you could even go till 10 if everything goes your way, or it could even drop to 3 or 4, as it happened in Rio. I remember covering the Rio Games, where also you expected 6 and 7, but you fell well short of that at 2. So at the moment, a realistic, if you had to really pin me down and ask me a realistic number, I'd probably arrive at 5 or 6. But, the Indian contingent could very well do much better than that. Who knows, maybe double digits.
Okay, let's leave it there. Nikhil, you stay safe and thank you very much. Enjoy the Olympics. We're all really feeling as if we should be there with you. And hopefully we'll be celebrating with you all the gold medals that India hopefully gets in these games. Thanks very much. Nikhil Naz reporting there from Paris that the situation is now under control. Let's turn back home where the situation perhaps is not under control, because guess what? This is supposed to be Kargil Divas. 25 years ago this year, amazing bravery shown by our soldiers to rescue this country from a Pakistan-sponsored attack by Mujahideen. These terrorists tried to climb the icy climbs of Kargil and they were pushed back by our brave Jawans. Today is the 25th anniversary of Kargil Divas. But on this day, I'm sad to report that politics played out, because the Agniveer debate took over. The Prime Minister in Kargil claimed the opposition is spreading disinformation on the Agnipath scheme. This prompted a sharp response from the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who accused Mr. Modi of doing petty politics on Kargil. Meanwhile, 4 BJP-ruled states have stepped in and promised quota for Agniveers, a clear sign that the entire scheme may be reviewed soon. Why politics on such a special day? That's our top story.
अग्निपथ का लक्ष्य सेनाओं को युवा बनाना है। अग्निपथ का लक्ष्य सेनाओं को युद्ध के लिए निरंतर योग्य बनाए रखना है। दुर्भाग्य से राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा से जुड़े इतने संवेदनशील विषय को कुछ लोगों ने राजनीति का विषय बना दिया।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi fiercely defends the Agnipath recruitment scheme introduced in the armed forces by his government. Speaking at an event in Dras to mark the 25th anniversary of India's victory over Pakistan in the 1999 Kargil War, the Prime Minister on Friday dismissed claims that the scheme was primarily aimed at cutting the pension bill.
जरा कोई मुझे बताए, आज मोदी के शासनकाल में जो भर्ती होगा, क्या आज ही उसको पेंशन देना है क्या? उसको पेंशन देने की नौबत 30 साल के बाद आएगी और तब तो मोदी 105 साल का हुआ होगा और तब न भी मोदी की सरकार होगी.
The Prime Minister claimed the scheme, which retains only 25% of the recruits after 4 years, was framed after wide consultation. He went on to claim the Kargil Vijay Divas would not have been observed had the opposition won the elections.
मुझे तीसरी बार सरकार बनाने का मौका मिला और इसलिए आज ये महत्वपूर्ण ऐतिहासिक घटना का हम पुण्य स्मरण कर पा रहे हैं. वरना अगर वही आ जाते तो इस युद्ध विजय की इस तारीख को याद नहीं करते.
Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge hit back at the Prime Minister, accusing him of doing petty politics on an occasion meant to pay tribute to soldiers.
प्रधानमंत्री जी आदतन जो गलत कर जाते हैं उसे गलत भी मानने को तैयार रहते हैं. 6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग के बाद आप क्या उनको पाकिस्तान और चीन की सीमा के सामने करेंगे? जो सेना है आपके सामने जिसे आज आप संबोधित कर रहे थे, ये विश्व विजयी सेना है, भारत की बहादुर सेना है. मैं उनकी शहादत को कारगिल में प्रणाम करता हूँ, सलाम करता हूँ और इसे या तो समाप्त कर दें मोदी जी या जब हमारी सरकार आएगी हम समाप्त.
The Agnipath recruitment scheme is a major issue in Haryana, which goes to polls later this year. Prime Minister Modi's defence, that too on Kargil Vijay Divas, indicates the central government is holding its ground on Agniveer, an initiative that has left the country's youth disappointed. Bureau Report, India Today.
Politics over Kargil Vijay Divas. Why is the question I'm going to raise right at the very top. Is the country's military being used as a pawn in a political war? Does Agniveer scheme need a complete review? What is the impact all of this has on the country's war preparedness? Is Agnipath an exercise in cost-cutting, or is it meant to make our fighting forces fighting fit? To some of the questions I'll raise. I'm joined by Lieutenant General Satish Dua, former GOC 15 Corps. Major General Yash Moore joins me. Shazia Ilmi is BJP spokesperson, and Ajoy Kumar, Congress spokesperson. I want to come to my two military guests first to ask them for their response to what they heard today and saw today, this kind of spat triggered by the Prime Minister's remarks, responded by the opposition on Kargil Divas. You first, General Dua. Does it trouble you? Is the military getting used as a pawn in a political battle? You're on mute, General.
I'll just keep it short.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because yes, it does trouble me that any issue related to the army is being used in the political arena. So I would like to steer clear of that politics, and I would like to discuss the issues of the scheme as and when we get to it.
Yeah, I'll come to the scheme, but why is this happening? As a civilian, we want to know why is this happening, that virtually every issue now, this was a very solemn occasion to remember our brave hearts. What does it become? It becomes the Prime Minister taking on the opposition striking back.
Like I said, Rajdeep, it pains me that a solemn occasion on a day like this, when we are celebrating the silver jubilee of our brave hearts, and let me also begin by paying homage to all the brave hearts who participated, and 527 of them who made the supreme sacrifice for the nation. Yes, it does trouble me that this issue is being politicized. Mm-hmm. I would rather this not become a political issue. Let it remain as an issue. We can discuss that separately, and I am willing to take that on later.
I'll come to the Agnipath issue, General, in a moment. General Moore, your first thoughts though on the manner in which this is playing out. Should this be an occasion for the Prime Minister or indeed the opposition to take each other on over the army, what has been done, not done?
Thank you, Rajdeep. At the outset, this is war we all have lived through. 25 years is a long time. And war fought by young soldiers and young officers. They actually, held the flag high, and today we pay gratitude to them and homage to them. But this was not the occasion. This was a very, very solemn occasion to use. The Prime Minister could have just said a few words, warned Pakistan, it's okay, we need to keep warning Pakistan. It's a good place to do that. And also there were so many Veer Nari, so many veterans who were gathered there to, have a word with them, motivate them, and to see the Prime Minister is a big thing, in that place. But unfortunately, it became mostly a political discourse, and that to be used from there, I think it could have certainly been avoided. And army is army. Governments come and go. Hamara koi farak nahi padta hai. Everybody has respected the military, and we have seen all governments. So I think that it could have certainly been avoided. Today was not the occasion to speak on Agnipath or criticize the opposition or whatever issues the Prime Minister raised. It could certainly have been. It was unfortunate that we were hearing this from the Kargil War Memorial today morning.
Shazia Ilmi, that really leads me to ask you this question. Kargil War Memorial, the Prime Minister is there. It's a solemn occasion. It's an occasion to focus on our brave hearts. Is this an occasion to have pot shots at the opposition? The Prime Minister could have done it in Parliament. Why do you use this occasion? I'm not saying the opposition is blameless and we'll come to the opposition's role. But the Prime Minister need not have used this occasion to suddenly take on the opposition. This is the wrong occasion, some are suggesting.
So first of all, I'd like to say, yes, today is a day of remembrance and to pay homage to our martyrs, and indeed a solemn occasion. It is also a day to talk about what is the preparedness of our army, how people look at it, and whether we should allow it to be politicized by anybody and everybody. We have seen the recent attacks, and not just misgivings, but complete canards that have been spread about Agniveer scheme, about the army and how it impacts the army, and what it does to Agniveer youth and the uncertainty that it leads to, and the complaint and the voice of having to recall it. So I think the Prime Minister was completely in the right by talking about the issue, by talking about the needs of the army, the defense apparatus, what needs to be done, and also allaying fears and misgivings that people might have vis-a-vis the Agniveer scheme, which is integrated and is a part of our defense mechanism to go forward. And not just that, is also a way to say that, yes, we are not backtracking.
Okay.
We will look at it, we will review it, but we'll ensure that it is very much a part of our defense apparatus, and we are going along with it and preparing our army for a more youthful profile, for a leaner, meaner, more war-ready machine.
Okay. Ajay Kumar, why don't you respond to that? For months during the election campaign and even after, Rahul Gandhi and the opposition have gone on suggesting that the Agniveer scheme is demoralizing the forces, that the Agniveer scheme is badly drafted. I mean, is the Prime Minister to keep silent every time Rahul Gandhi attacks him? He's entitled also, some would say, to respond. He chooses his moment. He chose this occasion.
No, the senior generals who just spoke before me had made it very clear, Rajdeep, that the issue was, is that the place to say it? The Prime Minister has umpteen opportunities to come to the Parliament and discuss on policies. Here was the and this is the 25th time this function has happened. It used to happen at the Amar Jyoti Chavan earlier. Did any Prime Minister give a speech on such a solemn occasion? Did any Prime Minister of India, any leader in the world, maybe some despotic dictators in banana republics would do it, but otherwise any man with any leader with a small sense of even sensitivity This Prime Minister has lost all sense of proportion. It is an occasion where to convey to the nation the supreme sacrifice the people did. It is to convey his deep respect to the soldiers and the officers who died. And
so are you objecting to the timing or the content? Let's be clear. Rahul Gandhi, through the 2024 election campaign, attacked Mr. Modi and the government on the Agniveer scheme. Are you questioning the timing of the Prime Minister's response or the location?
One second.
Or the content?
So please listen to me first. The Agniveer scheme is the most harmful scheme to this country. There is no debate. And I was amazed with Shazia Madam Shazia ji's explanation. Like RSS guys also saying that it's a great scheme. I don't know. The non-political, non-NGO RSS is now also giving statements. The issue is, first, the gravest insult to the supreme sacrifice on a war which is so historical in our modern defense history was trivialized by a street-level political discourse by the Prime Minister. And it is an insult. That is the first. The occasion was wrong.
Okay.
The background was wrong. Second, what we need to say on the Agniveer can follow your second question, which we think is not only why doesn't he retire all his IAS officers? Why does he keep Ajit Doval till the age of 79? Why is all his people till 65, 75, 80? Some people, IAS officers, retiring at 80. No Agniveer. So one sec, let me complete. I didn't interfere, Shazia ji, so I have this. So my question to you is, that is a debate after this, which the honourable, my colleagues, the senior leader, the generals from the army would also add their view on what they think about it. But I'm just saying, it is the most horrendous political speech on the most solemn occasion.
Okay.
And the
you made the point. You're saying you find that the occasion was the wrong one to make a political speech. You have an objection with the content and the timing. Shazia, let me respond, and then I'll go to the generals who are listening patiently. They deserve their moment, but I'll let you respond.
Yes, sure. Sure. So I've already answered on timing. As for the content, is there one thing, our dear friend, who can throw light on as to what is the issue with it? I understand that there are misgivings about the 6 months training, which should be increased to 9 months. We know how Rahul Gandhi lied so brazenly in the parliament, and all his lies were debunked, and the army had to actually come to the rescue of the government, so to speak, and explain that Agniveers are indeed martyrs and have been given more than 1 crore as compensation. But, lying, brazenly lying, and also matters of defense, matters of army, matters of security, national security, always being politicized, and also not even explained. Now, you just saw Ajoy. Ajoy talked about RSS. He talked about this, that, and the other, how horrendous and horrible. There were many adjectives, but there was no real fact. Nothing there.
Okay.
Now, can I tell you, Rajdeep, 40,000 Agniveers were recruited in the first year. Next year, about 1 lakh, and the number will go on. Now, imagine everybody's talking about that uncertainty that will come their way. They're also talking about only 25%, which means 1 out of 4 would be actually made permanent and will be part of the army, and 3/4 won't be. Now, today itself, there have been announcements by so many governments that there would be a reserved quota for those, and their preference and weightage.
Ma'am, that is, with due regard, this reservation has come as an afterthought.
We've heard all arguments.
No, ma'am. This reservation is a clear sign that the government has realized there's a problem. This government lives in denial, ma'am. Why not accept there was a problem with the original scheme?
No. There is no denial. There's a transformative scheme. It's a brilliant scheme. Imagine this 1,40,000, youngsters. Many of them are women, so I can't say young men. Young men and women were not recruited, were not getting this training. What would they be doing? I'm just asking in terms of
your point is taken. Let me take that.
Your employability.
Ma'am, I've heard the politicians. Ma'am, I've heard both of you. Let me take it to the experts. I've got 2 experts who've got 2 very different views, I gather. General Dua, your view. Is Agniveer a scheme that is needed? The army has a huge requirement for your younger army. This is a way to bring in youngsters into the army. You can't, and the army also has financial pressure. So this is one way out. Across the world, you have short-term recruitment.
I'll take a very pragmatic view on this, Rajdeep. This is a scheme that has been announced with a certain purpose. Before I come to the purpose, everything has pros and cons. So the purpose or the pros of the scheme are: we need a more youthful profile in the army. We need a faster turnover to be able to cope up with the newer technologies. That means, to explain that, that means that the moment you have faster turnover of, the youth that come into or inducted into the army will be more adept at using the technologies of the time, because everything is now getting into the technical domain. On the other hand, there are several cons, or there are certain things that need to be tweaked. And the defense minister is on record not more than once to have stated that as we go along with the scheme, we will make changes to the scheme as and when required. Now, let me very quickly make, to my mind, there are 4 issues that could be addressed. There are the 4 issues which are more of contention, essentially. First is the retention. I beg your pardon. The period of retention. That means we are looking at a 4-year scheme. Should it be 4 years, or can it be increased to 6 to 7 years?
Okay, that's one. Number 2,
that would also usher in better stability. It would give better training and more permanency. Second is the issue of retention percentage. Should it be 25%, or can it be increased to 50 or let's say 50 or 60% is my suggestion.
Okay.
Third is that post re-entrenchment employment, that is all those who are not included in the army for retention will get some assured employment, to which you also mentioned there are several states which have now made out some quotas. The Ministry of Home Affairs had earlier announced a 10% quota, and things so on and so forth, and it's perhaps work in progress. But we still have 2 years more to go to get to that. And the last thing that I would like to say is that if an Agniveer, God forbids, makes the supreme sacrifice while he is in service, then he should be treated at par with all the soldiers as far as the terminal death benefits are concerned.
Very, very good points. Very good points, and points which I hope the government is reviewing and looking at closely. General Moore, your viewpoint. Do you believe that the government could have looked at all these points 2 years ago in 2022? Now suddenly the government is talking about reservations for Agniveers in state governments, Home Ministry, quota and CISF. All of this, all the points that General Dua made could have been done with consultation in 2022.
Yeah, Rajdeep, let's face some startling facts. Let's put some facts on table. Jan Naravne, in his book, which is we are yet waiting to read that book, said it was bold from the blue. And I can tell you this issue was not discussed in any army commanders conference, any combined commanders conference. It was a surprise. It was a surprise for the services. Let's accept it the way it was announced. And after that knee jerk, we have been having a lot of, suddenly all DGs one day announced quotas of paramilitary forces. And if the scheme was so good, we should have brought it for the police forces and paramilitary forces. The scheme in one stroke, it is affecting the unit cohesion. Rajdeep, nation above everything, the army above everything. Unit cohesion depends on section and platoon, where it takes a soldier 8 to 9 years to get integrated, to learn a weapon system. You can't give a tank or a tank commander or a BMP commander, air defense gun or a radar to somebody who's got 3-4 years service. And they can't attend any courses also. They get only 30 days leave. Aap socho, if a child, 18-year-old is sitting in Dras, he goes on 30 days leave, but the other soldier who's permanent goes on 90 days leave. Plus, if you're killed in action, okay, money, we should not even discuss money over sacrifice of our soldiers. But the parents don't get anything other than whatever ex gratia, whatever amount. What about the pension? Earlier, if a soldier died, the parents, sometimes their parents themselves are young. And पूरी उम्र उसकी माँ को जब पेंशन आती है, एक तारीख को कहती है मेरे बेटे ने ये मेरी जिंदगी बुढ़ापा अच्छा कर दिया. There is no pension. So there is actually really lot to be done. I agree with Jan Dua. The scheme needs major tweaking. As far as I am concerned, 1,80,000 we didn't recruit for 3 years, Rajdeep. 1,80,000 जवान तो हमने recruit ही नहीं किए ना 3 साल. उसकी तो we are not even discussing. They were at some stage. Those young boys were on the streets really, and one big change that has taken place, Rajdeep, and now I'm talking as a soldier connected to the ground, is that earlier you saw in villages the pride of uniform. Army, Navy, Air Force has always been number one choice of our rural youth. Today, unfortunately, it is not the number one choice.
Can I get a clarification though from you on the 180? Who are you referring to when you say 180?
These are, Rajdeep, the soldiers who were in some lineup for getting recruited when the COVID hit. And all recruitment went through other than the Army, Navy and Air Force. These are those boys जो रुकी हुई भर्ती की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ राजदीप, जिनकी भर्ती नहीं हुई 3 साल और suddenly the scheme came, the entire everything was cancelled. You must listen to their pain, and they became overage. Their life has been shattered by many of them were just waiting to just get a call letter कि कल उसने Air Force Academy join करनी है, कोई infantry का center join करना है, किसी का medical बचा हुआ था. So that is a huge population. And suddenly today, Rajdeep, you don't see young boys running in villages, in the stadiums, on the roads. They've just gone. They're all either going, ये मैं बहुत दुख के साथ बता रहा हूँ, most of them are either wanting to get into police or paramilitary, or they are going out on donkey route, exploring other options. I see this in Haryana. Village after village, young people have been disheartened. So there is a socio-economic factor. We must see how the old recruitment has helped families in their progress in life. I am a son of a Sipahi. I went on to become a Navy general. I will hear the army men today first. Sorry, madam. Today is the day. Let's please have the patience to listen to experts for a change. Politicians must madam. Sorry, not today. Not today. I want to hear him. I will give you a chance to respond.
Don't do this moral. Don't do this moral sermonizing.
What is the moral, sir? He's giving you hard facts. You don't like the facts, that's your problem.
No. Don't sermonize.
No, you don't like the facts.
I want to also give him some hard facts.
I will, but let him finish. Have the patience.
No, I don't like the facts.
Have the patience.
Some of them are not facts.
Madam, have the patience.
Yeah, he's going on and on.
No, he's not.
He's going on and on.
He's giving you hard facts. You don't like it? That's your problem.
He is.
Okay, Mr. General Moore, you finished?
Should be allowed to rebut?
General Moore, you finished? Let her rebut.
Okay.
Rajdeep, I don't want to engage any politician.
Carry on.
This is a very serious issue.
Oh, you're not interested. That's your problem, madam. You're not interested in listening to a general or an expert. Is that what you're telling me today on the show, madam? General Moore,
what are you telling me that all other people have spoken? General Manoj Pandey and a CDS, they are lying. Are you trying to say
there
that?
There is a book of General Narendra.
And the chief of
Madam, I hope you know there is a book.
All of them are lying.
Madam, I hope you know there is a book of the former chief of staff, General Narendra, who has raised concerns. Are you aware?
We all know that.
Are you even aware of it?
We all know that. Rajdeep, we are very well aware. We are very well aware. And
now you respond to him.
General Manoj Pandey has said about
General Moore, let's listen to Shahji Almi. Give me the fact to dispute him. Madam, I'm not. Give me a fact.
No.
You're saying he's lying.
No.
You're saying the general is lying.
No, are you saying the General Manoj Pandey? No, I'm saying this. Is the general saying the General Manoj Pandey is lying? Is he saying that former CDS was lying?
Please give me a hard fact.
Is he saying the chief of army
give me a hard fact.
Today is lying?
Give me a hard fact today, madam.
This is a hard fact. This is what they've said. Mr. Manoj Pandey.
General Narendra has written a book saying that he was not even consulted.
Disagreed.
General Narendra has written a book.
Only if you stop
which
speaking.
Your government is not even allowing to be published.
Stop shouting and screaming. I'm talking about the book. I'm talking about the book. General Manoj Pandey has responded to the very same book, which you have mentioned about 100 times, which everybody knows about, which is always used and in the context of Agnipath scheme. We all know about it 100 times over. General Manoj Pandey has commented on that and said no, army and many senior officials, everybody was in the know. So are you saying all of them were lying? If you're saying that this particular general is saying that nobody knew about it, but all other generals and former chief of staff and former CDS
that's a fair point.
Present CDS
you're saying there are enough voices.
So who's lying now?
Okay, madam. I will now. You need to know some facts. There are admirals like Admiral Anup Prakash. There are generals like General Manoj Pandey. It's a divided issue. We can cherry pick. But for you to say that General Moore is putting out false facts, I think is not fair. He's a respected general who has his own view.
No. I never said that. No. I'm not saying that. Yes, General Manoj Pandey is also a respected general.
Sure he is.
CDS, who's now
sure he
also
is.
Very respected
Madam,
person.
I am asking you for...
Yes. Do
Madam,
not do
you
that.
cannot now
Yeah,
take over the show. Please put her voice
it's-
down. It's not between you and me. On a solemn day, let's show some respect for people who have probably more experience than you and me in the army. Ajay Kumar, similarly the Congress party. This is an issue where there are generals who have very different views. General Dua believes the scheme is good. It needs some tweaking. General Moore has reflected the problems. Now you tell me, Ajay Kumar, how do you see this? Yeah, she's welcome to go up. She can leave if she wants. No problem. Go ahead, Ajay Kumar.
No, first of all, apologies from all the political people for what has happened. I don't think Shazia and me should have had the minimum courtesy to at least sit and argue it. And it's unfortunate because all politicians who come on any show should respect that. But the second part is, whether it is General Narwane's statement or whether they're different people, obviously there are two generals on the show and who have two different views. I mean, General Dua.
No, does the Congress party respect those different views? Is the Congress party willing for a dialogue, or is it my way or the highway? Is Rahul Gandhi saying either you recast the Agniveer scheme or I won't listen? The scheme has its strengths also.
So Rajdeep, we have never been not open to discuss the history of Mr. Modi, whether it is speaking on political issues at Kargil Divas, whether it is using the Pulwama as a political tool during the 2019 election, whether the army is not being impacted by these political shenanigans. The army is also definitely impacting. I've been witness to some WhatsApp group of retired army officers who at times scares me either way. So it's not that the army also is being insulated, and it is natural.
No, sir, I've asked you a direct question. Is the Congress party willing to accept that there are different views on Agniveer and there should be a dialogue? This is the issue of dialogue. It's not an issue of my way or the highway, yes or no?
And look, Rajdeep, so let me complete. Absolutely, there should be a dialogue. There should be absolute debate in the parliament. There should be absolute discussion on how we can improve it. And we will give inputs that we believe that people, all soldiers, all boys should get, or any soldier should get pension lifetime. And the Bharatiya Janata Party will say it is not feasible. And that discussion will come and you'll come to some common ground. Both the generals had some good suggestions. The question again is, if you want a young fighting unit, but you must make, and what is interesting is, and the point which General Moore said, I come from Jharkhand. I don't see kids anymore running for the army. And they used to run for the army for the only reason was they believed that the selection process was absolutely taint-free compared to the other service, like the state police. I've been in the Indian police service, but their view was that the army selection will be purely based, it cannot be tainted. That has disappeared. That kids running across in Jharkhand, I don't see them running on the highway. I don't see them running in Jamshedpur and the rural areas at all. So you are not the people who are the
okay, Ajay Kumar, I have limited time.
30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. My thing is, we need to first have a discussion saying that, listen, can this scheme, what is it the pain points for the soldiers? What is the pain point for the government? What they feel is, and the army generals, what they're saying. But the important part across, no army general will say that the existing scheme is of any value to this country.
So that's not true. I've heard army men who've also had positive things to say about the scheme. General Dua, is there a middle ground? Is the time come for a dialogue? The problem is, as has been hinted by some previous army chiefs, this scheme was pushed through without that necessary consultation, which could have resulted in a better scheme with some of the tweaks that you have already suggested today.
I'll again start with a disclaimer. I retired much before the scheme was announced, so I am not privy to how much was the discussion and who all were on board or not. So let me steer clear of that. We are looking at the scheme, and my suggestion is that there are good points in the scheme, which I will not sort of repeat myself. There are good points in the scheme, but there are certain issues that need taken care of. Like I said, Defense Minister is on record, and who better than him to say that? We will review. In the armed forces, there is a procedure that when you start a pilot project, when you start a new project, after a certain number of certain duration, we will review it. We have finished only 2 years of the scheme so far, and 2 years more are left for the first batch to come up for retention or exit. there is this time that we need to think of what are the improvements in the scheme. Already
Right.
there has been
So you're
there is
saying
discussion on a wide canvas, a
Right.
nationwide discussion on this topic. Some suggestions I gave. I've read many other suggestions. So I think that we must capitalize on the good points of the scheme, like lowering the youth profile, enhancing the technology threshold, etc. But we need to look at certain things that need to be improved to the satisfaction of all concerned.
let's leave it there. I think it's unfortunate that even a discussion in the times that we live in becomes so polarized that name calling is very easy. All that one wants is that there should be a reasoned discussion, and then by a process of consultation and hopefully consensus, the good things of a scheme are retained, and those that are not acceptable or are not advantageous are removed. Is that asking for too much? Think about our soldiers. I'll have a special tribute to them at the end of the show, but we must move on. I thank my guests. Many parts of India today are reeling under nature's fury. Heavy downpour lashing parts of Maharashtra, Mumbai, Pune, several Gujarat cities are flooded out with waterlogging. A red alert has also been issued in Gujarat, which is bringing me to our Get Real India story, which is coming from Maharashtra, Mumbai. Every year it's the same story. The monsoon hits and civic infrastructure goes for a toss. And in the financial capital of Mumbai, potholes resurface. They've claimed over the years 2,000 lives. Residents claim their pleas to the civic body are falling on deaf ears. Take a look at Get Real India.
Potholes, the most visible evidence of crumbling infrastructure. From toppling trucks to killing unsuspecting motorists. Potholes can be deadly at times. The monsoon has exposed our cities once again. Incessant rainfall has triggered road cave-ins in Vadodara. On this road in Surat, one can spot the potholes more easily than even surface.
100 मीटर 200 मीटर पे खड्डे ही खड्डे आते हैं। रात को कोई भी चलता है। अभी एक बार हस्बैंड और वाइफ ऐसे गिरे तो उनको बहुत जबरदस्त चोट भी लगी कल रात को।
कितने गड्ढे हैं रोड पे?
पूरा गड्ढा ही है, पूरा रोड ही गड्ढे में बदला हुआ है।
कितने गड्ढे इस रोड पे?
रोड थोड़ा है, गड्ढे में रोड है।
अच्छा,
ये गड्ढे में रोड है भाई।
कितना तकलीफ पड़ता है?
बहुत तकलीफ आता है। देखो हमारा जंपर ही टूट जा रहा है, बहुत तकलीफ आ रहा है। सरकार से अनुरोध है बन जाए तो बढ़िया है।
Every monsoon, the pothole issue resurfaces in Mumbai. The silent killers have claimed over 2,000 lives in Maharashtra so far. In Mumbai's Santa Cruz locality, the situation is worsening for students who commute to school and their parents.
ज़्यादा तो यहाँ पे खड्डे बहुत है, जिसके वजह से इतना ट्रैफिक भी हो जाता है और स्कूल छूटने पर फुल ट्रैफिक रहता है। और कभी-कभी है ना, ये सब गटर की ये आप देख सकते हैं, वो भी सब टूटे रहते हैं। उसके वजह से बच्चों लोग कभी-कभी उसमें गिरने के भी बहुत ही खतरा रहता है उसमें।
The potholes pose as a grave risk to public safety.
जब मेन पानी भरता है यहाँ पे, ये एरिया में पानी भरता है तो बच्चे लोग को मालूम नहीं रहता है किधर खड्डा है क्या है, तो जब चलते वक्त गिर जाते हैं। कुछ पेरेंट्स लोग को भी यही प्रॉब्लम हो रही है। गटर ये ढक्कन पूरे टूट चुके हैं, 2-3 रिपेयर किए हैं, बाकी कुछ नहीं देख रहे।
This is the KES BMC school. These children have just left and look at the situation over here. Complete road outside this particular school is filled with potholes.
Local residents have repeatedly raised the issue with BMC.
जो हम हर साल का होता है, एक हेवी रेन में सारे रोड का पॉटहोल्स बन जाते हैं पूरे, और ये अभी तक इसका कोई सोल्यूशन बीएमसी ने निकाला है ना कुछ, ये हर साल का है।
Despite potholes being one of the biggest infrastructural pain points for Mumbai, the government seeks more time.
तो बीएमसी की जो ये नाकामी है, निकम्मापन है, मैं बीएमसी को चेतावनी देना चाहता हूँ कि इस निकम्मेपन से सुधर जाओ, वरना हम तुम्हारा पीछा नहीं छोड़ेंगे। ठीक है, ये लाइब्रेरी है, बच्चे यहाँ पढ़ने आते हैं और ये स्थिति बना करके रखी हुई यहाँ पर।
Years after years, potholes resurfaces on the roads of Mumbai every monsoon. This year is no different. Mumbaikars feel that potholes-free Mumbai is now a myth. Even after paying thousands of crores in taxes, this is what Mumbaikars get in return. With camera person Sahil Chauhan, this is Saurav Vakhtania in Mumbai for India Today.
Let's turn to a terrible story that's coming in from Bengaluru, where a gruesome murder took place right in the heart of Bengaluru's cosmopolitan hub of Koramangala. Kriti Kumari from Bihar was brutally stabbed by an assailant at her paying guest complex. 3 days on, the offender still remains at large. Take a look.
Spine-chilling murder caught on camera stuns Bengaluru. 22-year-old Kriti Kumar was brutally killed in a PG accommodation in Koramangalam on July 23rd. The killer entered the building armed with a knife, dragged Kriti out of her room and started stabbing her. She was stabbed in her face, chest, shoulder and neck. Moments after the assault, Kriti's hostel mates were seen running in panic, but nobody stepped up to help her as she lay in pool of blood.
Right behind me here is a biometric system. And as you can see, this biometric system, we've been told, is a system where everybody has to register themselves before entering. But the question that India Today in this case also stands to ask are several. One, despite a security measure like this in place, how did the accused get access? Even on the unfateful night of getting access, who took his details down? Was he asked where he was coming from? Investigators suspect that Abhishek may have targeted Kumari, believing that she influenced his girlfriend for leaving him and moving in with Kriti Kumari at this PG accommodation.
The motive behind this gruesome murder is not clear. The police are trying to track down the killer.
We are investigating it. Once we apprehend the accused, I will able to tell you what exactly has transpired for this incident. Already my teams are working there on the field. Everywhere they are, we will crack the case.
It has been 3 days since the murder. Kriti's killer is still on the loose. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's hope he's caught sooner rather than later. Tonight, though, I want to leave you with a homage to our remarkable Kargil bravehearts. The Pakistani army, in an act of deceit, tried to take over the Kargil heights. It required all the courage of our soldiers to ensure they were pushed away from the heights and Kargil was recaptured. Tonight, 25 years later, we remember our Kargil heroes and hope that the lessons are never forgotten and the villains are not forgiven. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubh Ratri. Jai Hind, Namaskar.